ladies and gentlemen, there are moments in history when silence speaks louder than victory, when the measure of a leader is not found in triumph, but in how they rise from the dust of defeat. Today, I speak not of crowns nor of thrones, but of the sacred bond between leadership and respect, a bond that defines nations, families, and the soul of every person who dares to stand for something greater than themselves. True leadership is not about control, superiority, or authority. It is about service. The essence of genuine leadership lies in the willingness to carry the weight of responsibility for others and to act, not for personal glory, but for the collective good. A true leader does not rise by pressing others down, but by lifting them up. Leadership, at its highest form, is a sacred duty rooted in humility. It is about understanding that power is only meaningful when it is used to empower, that influence is only honorable when it brings growth and dignity to those who follow. When one leads through service, leadership ceases to be a position and becomes a purpose. It transforms from a quest for recognition into a mission of impact. The leader who serves understands that people do not follow titles, they follow example. They are drawn not to authority, but to authenticity. The world has seen too many who commanded obedience and too few who inspired loyalty. The difference lies in the heart. One seeks to be feared, the other seeks to be trusted. Service in leadership requires empathy, the ability to feel the struggles of others as your own. It demands listening, not merely to reply, but to understand. A servant leader looks beyond personal ambition and asks, what do my people need? What future am I building for those who depend on me? Such leadership cannot be faked, for sincerity reveals itself in every decision, every sacrifice, and every word spoken in truth. The strength of a servant leader is quiet yet unbreakable. They do not need to raise their voice to command respect. Their calmness in crisis becomes their authority. Their consistency becomes their credibility. When others panic, they remain steady. When others boast, they stay grounded. Their power does not come from forcing outcomes, but from inspiring belief. The greatest leaders in history, those who changed hearts and shaped nations, were servants before they were symbols. They led by example, not by decree. They knew that service builds trust, and trust builds movements. Leadership that begins in humility ends in honor. The one who serves with sincerity gains a strength that no throne can offer and earns a respect that no crown can buy. To lead is to serve, and to serve is to lead with purpose, compassion, and unwavering resolve for the good of others. Strength is not revealed when life is easy or when applause fills the air. It is revealed when the world grows silent and the ground beneath begins to shake. True strength is born in adversity, in those moments when everything comfortable is stripped away and one is left with nothing but conviction. It is in the fires of hardship that a leader's character is refined and their courage tested. The storms of life do not break the strong, they reveal them. When pressure mounts and opposition rises, it is not the loudest or most forceful who endure it is the one who stands firm with calm determination and refuses to let fear dictate their choices. Adversity has a way of unmasking what lies beneath the surface. It shows whether confidence is genuine or only an act for the crowd. In times of success, anyone can appear strong. In times of failure, only the true remain steadfast. A leader's worth is not measured by how high they rise, but by how they carry themselves when they fall. The individual who can remain composed in chaos and hopeful in hardship demonstrates a strength that no victory can replicate. Adversity transforms pretenders into pretenders no more. It strips away illusions and leaves only the truth. There is also a quiet nobility in endurance. To keep moving forward when the path is uncertain demands more courage than any triumph. Every challenge tests the boundaries of patience, faith, and will. Yet each obstacle overcome becomes a foundation for resilience. It is through struggle that leaders learn empathy, through loss that they discover perspective, and through doubt that they find conviction. Strength is not the absence of vulnerability, it is the mastery of it. It is the ability to feel fear yet still act, to experience pain yet still hope, to confront despair yet still believe in light. The leader who faces adversity with dignity becomes an example for others. Their steadiness gives confidence to the weary and direction to the lost. When others see someone who does not break under pressure, they too find courage to stand. The ripple effect of resilience is powerful. It inspires unity, faith, and perseverance in those who witness it. A leader who endures trials not only proves their own strength, but multiplies it in others, turning personal struggle into collective hope. That is the essence of true strength, to remain firm when everything else falls apart, and to transform adversity into a source of unshakable resolve. Strength and respect are two forces that define the spirit of leadership, but neither can stand alone. Power that lacks respect becomes oppressive, and respect that lacks strength becomes fragile. The harmony between the two is what creates dignity, the quiet, unspoken authority that commands loyalty rather than fear. A leader may gain power through position, but they earn respect through character. Strength gives a leader the ability to act, to protect, to make difficult decisions when others hesitate. Respect gives that strength purpose, direction, and moral weight. Without this balance, leadership collapses into either arrogance or weakness. When strength walks without respect, it loses its humanity. History has shown that those who lead through intimidation may achieve obedience, but never loyalty. Their reins may appear solid, but they are hollow, sustained only by fear and fading pride. The leader who relies solely on force will always stand alone. Strength untempered by respect becomes destructive. It burns bridges, divides hearts, and leaves nothing but resentment in its wake. True leadership, however, uses strength not to dominate, but to protect, not to silence, but to uplift. The strongest act a leader can perform is to wield power with restraint, knowing that respect is not demanded. It is inspired. Likewise, respect without strength is noble but incomplete. A leader who seeks only to please everyone or avoid conflict loses direction. Compassion is vital, but it must be guided by courage. There are times when a leader must stand firm, even when their decisions invite criticism. Strength gives backbone to respect. It ensures that kindness is not mistaken for weakness, and patience not confused with passivity. The combination of both creates balance, firmness with fairness, authority with empathy, and leadership with humanity. The unity of strength and respect is what builds enduring trust. People will follow a leader who stands firm for what is right, yet does so with understanding and humility. Such a leader does not impose their will. They earn consent. They do not seek to be feared. They seek to be believed in. When followers sense both courage and respect within their leader, they give not just their obedience, but their hearts. This bond between strength and respect becomes the soul of dignity, a quality that outlasts victories and defeats alike. It is the invisible crown that no election, title, or force of power can bestow, yet all great leaders strive to wear. Defeat is never the end. It is the test that separates the shallow from the steadfast. Every leader, no matter how strong or visionary, encounters moments when the path collapses beneath their feet and dreams appear to fade into dust. Yet it is precisely in those moments that true greatness is born. Defeat strips away illusions and exposes the core of character. It asks the difficult questions. What do you stand for when everything seems lost? Do you still lead when no one is watching? The answers to these questions determine not the outcome of a battle, but the measure of a leader's soul. A leader's journey is not defined by the number of victories they achieve, but by the grace with which they confront failure. To face defeat with bitterness is to lose twice, first to circumstance and then to pride. But to face it with dignity is to transform loss into lesson and setback into strength. Defeat teaches humility, reminding us that leadership is not a guarantee of success, but a calling to perseverance. The one who stands tall after falling has learned something no easy victory can teach, that endurance builds character deeper than triumph ever could. In the face of defeat, many are tempted to abandon their principles in pursuit of quick redemption, but integrity during loss is the truest mark of leadership. It is easy to hold convictions when the crowd applauds, but it takes courage to hold them when the world turns away. The leader who accepts defeat with calmness and reflection earns more respect than one who clings to power in denial. For there is a quiet strength in surrendering with dignity, a recognition that failure does not define destiny. It merely refines it. The beauty of defeat lies in its power to awaken resilience. It reminds a leader that success is not a permanent state, but a cycle of rising, falling, and rising again. Each fall builds endurance, each scar deepens wisdom. A leader who has faced defeat understands struggle, and that understanding connects them more deeply to those they serve. When they rise again, they lead not from pride, but from empathy. Their authority is no longer about command, it is about connection. Defeat, when faced with dignity, becomes the foundation of unshakable strength, turning every ending into the beginning of something greater, forged in humility, tested by fire, and strengthened by faith in purpose. Dignity is not a gift bestowed by others. It is a state of being earned through consistency, integrity, and the courage to remain true when circumstances demand compromise. It does not depend on titles, applause, or recognition. Instead, it flows from within, a quiet confidence that comes from knowing one's values are not for sale. When a leader holds fast to their principles, even in moments of pressure or temptation, they rise above the fleeting judgments of the world. Dignity cannot be purchased by popularity nor destroyed by defeat. It endures because it is rooted in moral strength rather than external validation. The measure of dignity is revealed when no one is watching. It is in the decisions made in silence, when shortcuts seem easier and truth feels costly, that a person's integrity is truly tested. To act rightly in such moments requires a deep sense of honor, a conviction that doing the right thing matters more than winning. The world often celebrates success, yet the most enduring victories belong to those who preserve their dignity through loss. There is no power greater than self-respect, and no failure deeper than losing it. A leader who compromises values for convenience may gain temporary advantage, but loses the trust that sustains real influence. Dignity gives strength its soul. It transforms authority into respect and ambition into purpose. When a leader upholds dignity, they set a standard that inspires others to rise with them. People are drawn to those who do not bend to corruption or fear, who face both triumph and defeat with the same grace. Such leaders remind us that greatness is not about being flawless, but about being faithful to what is right. They may stumble, they may fall, but they never betray their essence. Their steadiness becomes a moral compass for others navigating uncertainty. Even in the harshest moments, dignity acts as an anchor. It allows a leader to stand tall when the world attempts to diminish them. It whispers calm in the noise of accusation and pride in the face of humiliation. To hold on to dignity is to refuse to be defined by circumstances, criticism, or defeat. It is a reminder that honor cannot be taken. It can only be surrendered. And those who never surrender it, who keep faith with their conscience no matter the cost, embody the rarest form of victory, the triumph of the spirit over the temptation to compromise. Integrity is the foundation upon which lasting respect is built. It is the quiet force that gives meaning to power and purpose to leadership. A person may rise through talent, intelligence, or opportunity, but it is integrity that keeps them standing when everything else is shaken. It means doing what is right, not what is convenient, speaking the truth even when it is costly, and holding to one's moral compass when the winds of temptation blow hard. The leader who lives with integrity commands respect without ever having to demand it, because people recognize authenticity instinctively. Respect cannot be forced. It is drawn naturally to honesty, consistency, and courage. Integrity is not a performance for the public eye. It is a private discipline. It begins in small choices, the unseen ones that shape character long before anyone notices. The leader who keeps promises, treats others fairly, and accepts responsibility for mistakes builds a foundation of trust that no scandal or rumor can easily destroy. When followers see that a leader's words align with their actions, faith grows. And when faith grows, respect follows. Integrity, therefore, becomes a leader's most valuable currency, one that appreciates with time rather than fades with circumstance. To lead with integrity requires strength, for it often means standing alone. It means saying no when others yield, admitting faults when others hide them, and choosing truth even when lies would make the road easier. There is courage in restraint and power in honesty. The leader guided by integrity may not always be the most celebrated, but they are the most trusted. In moments of crisis, people turn not to those who shout the loudest, but to those who remain steady, transparent, and principled. Trust is built slowly, but once earned through integrity, it endures beyond defeat or transition. Integrity also shapes the moral atmosphere of any place it touches. A leader's behavior sets the tone for everyone around them. When integrity leads, corruption retreats. When honesty prevails, confidence grows. The example of one person who chooses the right path can inspire an entire community to do the same. Respect born from integrity does not fade with power or position. It deepens with time. It turns leadership into legacy and influence into inspiration. A leader who holds fast to integrity and compassion leaves behind something far greater than authority. They leave a living example of strength guided by conscience and respect, earned through truth.